I'm Jamie Brads, Division Chief Technical Rescue for the Virginia Department of Fire Programs. I'm coming to you today from Rescue Challenge 2016 that is located in the Roanoke Valley here in Southwest Virginia. Rescue Challenge is an annual event that is sponsored by different localities geographically located throughout the state. Typically, it's a 2-year event that is held in one jurisdiction.
All right, Steve and I got rope, so.
The challenge is for technical rescue teams to come in to participate in different skill sets, whether it's rope, trench, confined space, vehicle rescue, any technical rescue challenge that you can think of or that can be mustered, these site facilitators come up with to challenge these teams so that all of the skills that they have been trained to participate in something like this in a real world environment, they're able to come here and train on.
We're here at the Roanoke Star in Mill Mountain in Roanoke, Virginia. This site at the Rescue Challenge is a tower climbing and a civil disobedience, a protest site. The teams have to come here and have to defeat a couple of sleeping dragons to access the tower. Then they have to climb the tower using lead climbing techniques and fall arrest protection. They have to horizontally climb the steel structure. And then they have to access the patients. They have to put them in harnesses, release them from how they're secured to the tower, and then lower them to the ground safely. It's a great way for some of the teams that have never done any tower climbing before, so they get a chance to try some lead climbing on structural steel, which is a little bit different than climbing a cliff or up in the mountains or even climbing trees.
They want them to kind of say something.
Hey, we're here at the Roanoke Concrete Quarry in Troutville, Virginia, just outside Roanoke. For Rescue Challenge this year, we're running an event called the Monster High Line. It's about a 480-foot high line across the quarry. The scenario involves a trespasser who has fallen into the water. They're on a flotation device in the water. The only way to gain access to him is to run a high line across the quarry with a movable control point, lower a rescuer down, gather up the victim into a basket and bring them up to safety. The challenge here is just to get the ropes across the quarry. It's a long distance. Most line guns don't shoot that far, so you got to have the right stuff, the right gear, the right line gun, and certainly the right techniques, ropes, things like that to make a scenario like this all come together.
2 more of them crossings.
This is the O course at Rescue Challenge 2016. I'm Mike Hopkins. The objective here is to learn how to move heavy objects when you don't have heavy equipment available. So if you don't have a crane available, you got to come up with something to do. As you can see behind me, Montgomery County, Maryland Task Force 1 is lifting a 6,000-pound concrete vault using an A-frame. The block underneath weighs approximately 1,200 pounds. They have to take that 1,200-pound block out, go through a piece of concrete culvert to my right. Once they get it through there, they have to carry it over to the jackass, load it in the jackass, and then bring it up the hill. On the concrete vault to my right, they're lifting up a 500-pound block of concrete. They have to bring it down to the ground. It's about 6 feet off the ground, lower it to the ground, bring it over to the jackass, load it in the jackass with the 1,200-pound block, and probably going to be a total weight of about 5,000 to 6,000 pounds, and they're going to have to haul that 5,000 to 6,000 pounds uphill.
What we're doing here today is we're actually having to shore up a trench up against the foundation of a house. The foundation of the house has become unstable due to being block construction. So we're going to have to do some exterior and interior shoring to make sure that the trench is secured and safe before our rescuers can enter to potentially rescue the 2 victims that have gone in. We also have a dewatering problem due to a busted pipe and the impending rain that has come in. So we're going to go in and have to shore this trench at various locations because we have victim 1 and 2 that are on opposite ends of the trench. What makes this application or this problem the most difficult is interior shoring. We'll have to go in and apply raker shore to offset the forces that are going to be applied to the actual shores to the exterior.
As you go, let's move this board over to.
Scenario we have today is the large animal rescue here at the Rescue Challenge. Basically what we have is a trench situation with a large animal, a horse, stuck in the trench in some mud. The challenge of it is basically shoring up the trench, making the trench safe, and extricating the horse out of the trench. The space that we have here today is an 8-foot by 8-foot square excavation. I call it a trench, but it's an excavation. And we have about 3 foot of mud in the bottom of it. The interesting thing about the site is safing up the trench and still having space to extricate the horse. Once you get the trench safed up, the issue then becomes making the attachment points to the horse. What a lot of people don't understand is with the mud up around the belly of the horse, it takes special equipment. We have needles, what we call needles. They're much like suture needles to fish rigging straps underneath of the animal. Once you get that in place and you get your elevated point to do your lift, now the issue becomes a vacuum that is created with the horse. So what we do is we take a lancing system, either an air lance or a water injection lance, and put that down right around the feet, inject the air in, and it breaks that suction, therefore lifting that horse. Once you get the horse out, you get the vacuum broken on the horse, you get it high enough to where you clear your panels and your strong backs. It's very important that we get a handler up on the horse when we get that horse back down to the ground, because they typically, if they're an active horse, as soon as their feet touch the ground, they're wanting to take off and get away from danger.